All my money back right here or right here.
And oh, pretty, very pretty.
The USS Maine was a warship and it blew up. And to this day, it is not known who blew it up. You guys, this Pawn Hub is brought to you by Youth Gone Wild Tattoo in Wisconsin. Check them out on social media or visit them in Wisconsin. They're at 105A South Knowles Avenue in New Richmond, Wisconsin. The owner, Minion, is a customer of mine. He actually sold me some gold and, well, we made a deal, and part of the deal was, how about I sponsor an episode? He's got a lot of great tattoos. I can tell he's a good artist. Check him out on social media or visit his store in person in Wisconsin. If you mention you came from the Pawn Man, he'll probably give you a great deal on a tattoo, and he's got some good stuff, so definitely check him out if you're into tattoos. And with that, you guys, let's get into a great Pawn Hub.
So you guys might remember when I was out with my mom like 2 months ago, I bought this in an antique shop. Unfortunately, I was not paying attention when I bought it. This is volume 2. I thought it was both volumes, so. The important stuff with how the war got started is not in volume 2. It's just kind of like the height of the fighting. But this book is all about the Spanish-American War, and let's talk a little bit about that conflict because it is pretty interesting, and I feel like a lot of Americans don't know very much about this conflict, and it was so pivotal to the 20th century in American history.
The Spanish-American War started really in 1895 with Cuba getting its independence or fighting for its independence from Spain, because Spain, one of the old big empires of the world, and at the turn of the last century as America was starting to eye that whole imperialism thing along with Japan and a lot of other emerging powers, the powers that be were really waning. So America wanted to get into a war with Spain to contest this, these big empires that are burgeoning. Spain, meanwhile, been getting smaller and smaller. They were too spread out. Their empire was waning. They didn't have the power that they had 100 years before. And America was on the rise. So America wanted to have a proving ground war with this big empire Spain so that we could step in and fill the boots of imperialism and kick them off and take all the, it's like, oh, you guys did all that imperialism to get all the land nice and warm for us. We'll just go ahead and take that now that you heated up the sea. So the rallying cry, remember the Maine, to hell with Spain, was really big here at the advent of this war. America got involved in 1898. And what happened is in February of 1898, the USS Maine was a warship that was docked off the coast of Havana, or was docked in Havana Harbor, and it blew up. And to this day, it is not known who blew it up. I honestly think it was probably an inside job, but it is not known. What is known is you don't blow up one of our ships. So we got involved in the war right away, and we won the war right away. We beat Spain in a short order. The war was fought in the Caribbean and in the Philippines. The victory that we had over Spain was why we occupied the Philippines until the end of World War II. Now, officially, the war lasted 4 months, from April to August of 1898, and then the Treaty of Paris was signed at the end of 1898 with Spain dropping out and really losing all of their world power. At that point, it was just we slapped them so hard we knocked their fangs out. They were neutered. Weird analogies, but sure. So the two big battles that changed the tides of the war, the battle at Manila Bay in the Philippines, and then the subsequent battle at Santiago de Cuba, where Teddy Roosevelt was involved. This is actually where we get a lot of the real intrigue of Teddy Roosevelt and the Rough Riders. He was the Secretary of the Navy, and he volunteered to be in this unit, the Rough Riders, these cavalry horseback. And their fighting was fierce. All fighting back then was savage. All fighting is still savage, but yeah, they really kicked some ass, and apparently Teddy was quite a figure on the battlefield. So when the Maine exploded, though, we get this thing called yellow journalism, which today you could call it fake news. It's journalism to push an agenda or a point, but it doesn't really need to be factual. The rallying cry, remember the Maine, to hell with Spain. William Randolph Hearst was one of the big people that was pushing that, and it was because all the rich people, all the capitalists, all these big barons with their industries, and all the politicians and everybody in Washington, we all were pushing for American imperialism at the turn of the last century, and this was a perfect scapegoat to do it with what happened to the Maine. Between yellow journalism and this explosion and kicking ass like this really introduced America's might in the 20th century, the winning of this war and the whole conflict. Now, as far as that book goes, I paid $65 in an antique shop because I thought it was both. It's just one volume. I'll be lucky if I get $65 out. I'm throwing it on my website. But as far as this war goes, it's very interesting, and for some reason, it's not as well discussed, and it should be, because it is a fascinating war. I think it's just the fact that it ended so fast. What war ends in 4 months where we defeat a major world power like that? That's a little bit on the Spanish-American War. Pawn Man's a salesman. in that I've never done this before, like this has never happened. So my good friend Ryan Beam at Crown Jewelry and Time here in Minnesota is the guy I got my Rolex from. and he's my watch go-to guy. I'm gonna be interviewing him soon. But I was out bar hopping with my friend Mike on Saturday night, and there's this dive bar we love going to called Jimmy's in Northeast. Shout out to Mike the bartender. I was there for maybe about 2 hours, but kind of toward bar close, these girls come in and they order lemon drops, and Mike goes, you know what? We'll have those. And I was like, and I'll take their tab. Let's have some fun. So we're chatting, and I'm chatting with this lady, and you know, so what do you do? I get into what I do, and she, how did it go about? You said, I'm looking for a watch, or so boom, boom, boom. We exchanged numbers, and then the next day she followed up, and I hit up Ryan, and he happened to have a couple options. So I sold her a watch. Let's take a look at it quick. Rolex Ladies Oyster Perpetual Date Just with Anniversary Jubilee Dial.
And, oh, pretty. Very pretty. Okay, I think you gotta wind it.
Oh, it's like way too small?
I want something a little bit bigger.
What you can do is you can go there, and I can square away with him the difference, or you can pay him the difference, and then I can square it away with him as well. This one's like 4,400. It's got a much bigger dial. It's stainless steel though. There's no gold on it. And then if you swipe one photo over, that one is like 5,500. That one's gold.
I want this one.
You want that one? Yeah. That was a quick answer. Why don't I hang on to the watch, because I already paid for the watch.
Of course.
You got the cash, so why don't you, I'm gonna tell him you're coming there. Why don't you just go to him and do that, and then I'll deal with this myself with him.
Okay.
Well, so worst case scenario, I actually was not expecting that at all. But worst case scenario, what I can do is either flip this myself, or, because I'm close to Ryan, I can just give it back and he'll just give me my money back. He'll sell it to someone else. So, to be continued. Let's see what happens.
He's a creepy old man in a windowless van who wants to babysit the con artist can.
All right.
No, I do not know.
Let's take a peek.
That's right.
Season, little Santa. Made by American Indians.
All hand carved, dude.
Who carved him?
I'm not sure.
Bet this guy liked to drink. He and I get along good. Made in USSR is polar bear. My mother was polar bear. My father was bottle of vodka. And oh, it's a candle holder. It's cute. I'll give you $40 for the stuff.
40?
40.
That's fine.
Well, thank you for coming by.
Thanks.
I will see you soon.
And
Yeah.
I got a couple of chairs.
I don't want any chairs. I don't want any chairs. I don't know where you can sell those. If it's bigger than like this, like I don't want it.
Okay.
Yeah. But no, this stuff is... Actually, I like this polar bear. I'm going to talk to it and drink vodka with it. I found this right away on eBay. This is $60. This is made by Native Americans, some kind of a weird antique. So here's all my money back. I found this right away. This is 40. Some were doing it at 50. The artist is Lomonosov. Lomonosov made this. So this guy's got it for $54.99. So all my money back right here or right here. And then the rest of this stuff is probably, most of this looks like something I'll get probably 15 bucks on. This is something I'll probably get like 10 bucks on, this vintage candle holder. I have reason to believe he wasn't bullshitting with these hand carved figures. They probably are done by an artist. I bet these are probably 30 bucks each. I gotta look them up. This is what I like to do with him. This is the kind of deal, this kind of stuff.